Hi loves! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to walk you through my current favorite glam to do. Every time I wear this makeup, I always get comments from you guys to do this look and it's super easy, so I'm glad you like it. Definitely try it out because it's glam, but it's not too much. It's just enough. And of course I'm using all my favorite products, some newer favorites, and then just staple things that are always in rotation. So make sure you guys grab a snack, get cozy, and let's get into it and have some girl time. All right, first things first, I'm gonna go in with the Rare Beauty Hydrating Under Eye Patches. I love these. They are honestly super hydrating. They feel cooling, and they actually stay in place when you have them on, so they're perfect for getting ready. And you guys know I always do my brows and eyes first, so I usually keep these in while I do that, and then I jump into the skin. I always like to have these on beforehand. They just feel really good. They have a gel kind of consistency. Oh, they just truly feel like little cucumbers on your under eyes, but see how they actually stay in place? They're the best. And I usually get those directly on Rare Beauty's website. I don't think that they're at Sephora, but they're totally worth getting online. They're seriously so good. For brows, I'm gonna go in with the Dominique Brow Frame in the shade Soft Black Brown. This has been my favorite go-to brow pencil. I love the fact that it has a little spoolie and built-in sharpener. I actually do use the sharpener. I usually just start by spooling through my brows. This is my new brow routine, and I have been really loving it. Ever since I started using this brow pencil, it's just been the go-to. With the sharpener, by the way, what you want to do is just twist the pencil up, not too much because you don't want to break it, but then you just take the pencil and you pretty much just drag it along the sharpener, and it gives you a perfect sharp edge. So I always like to start first pretty much just like how I always would do my brows, just by outlining them and following my natural shape. So I like to start at the bottom and I just do really tiny strokes. This has a good amount of pigmentation, so you don't have to be really heavy-handed with it. It just glides on. So I do the bottom and I extend the tail out a little bit further than what my natural tail is. Then I go into the inner part of my brows, and then I just go up top. And I usually use, if I have to, the flat edge of the pencil when I'm working up top. And that is it. That's kind of like the base shape. And then with the flat edge of the pencil, I fill in the rest of my brows very lightly, because like I said, this formula just glides on. And then I will take the spoolie through them again. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to clean them up, fluff them up in just a little bit, but let me do the other brow just to show you. That already makes such a difference. And you guys know I always have to clean up my brows, so I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop Blur Smooth Tint Stick in shade 8. I love this because it's a little bit more of a thicker formula, and it's just honestly perfect for cleaning up your brows. This color is a little bit too light for my skin, so I figured it is perfect for the brows because I usually like something a little bit lighter anyways. So I just take a flat little concealer brush and I pretty much just dip into the product. And then from here, I go right underneath my brows and just carve them out a little bit. And this is such a seamless formula, so it's not gonna look cakey around the brows. It is the perfect product to do this. You could use any stick foundation though as well, that would work. Just makes the brows look a little bit more polished. Now, this is where I fluff up the brows, and this is honestly my favorite part now of my brow routine, but I'm going to use 2 different brow gels, which is not really necessary, but I just feel like it really gives me that maximum hold and that fluffy brow look all day. So I'm going to use the Dominique Brow Blowout Shaping Gel. This is a really great product, especially if you already have really thick eyebrows. This is going to do a nice job at fluffing them up, so I've been loving this. This is actually my second tube, and what I like to do is pretty much start in the inner part of the brows, fluff those up first, and then very lightly fluff up the rest of the brows, but I do most of the fluffiness in the inner part. And just like that. Oh, I love it. This stuff is so good, and you could obviously, of course, just leave the brows regular, but I just love now like just the way that it looks, and with this product I feel like it makes the brows look amazing. And then I follow up with the Rare Beauty Brow Gel. This has a bit of a different formula than the one from Dominique. It is a bit less thick, but it has super hold in it as well. I think they both have nice hold, but the Rare Beauty one might be even a little bit more intense as far as the hold, so I just kind of like to layer them, and I just mostly like to do it in the inner part of the brows. And again, I pretty much just fluff them up lightly, and I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit, And then I'm going to take my finger and press down on my brows so they can really be plastered onto the face and then they will not move all day. I think filling in my brows this way, or fluffing them up I should say, really helps too, because I have two different brows, so it kind of makes them look more even, I feel like, by doing this. So if you haven't, try it out. Just fluff up your brows a little bit. I don't like to do it too much, but I just like a little fluff, especially in the inner part. I think it just makes the brows look a bit more natural, quote unquote. I love it, I love it. Let it dry for just a little bit, and then like I said, just take your finger and just hold down the product and your brows. That way they'll really stay in place. And just like that, brows are done. Now we can move into the eyes, and usually I will touch them up or, you know, really perfect them towards the end, but this is pretty much all that I've been doing for my brows. Okay, now let's move into the eyes. I'm gonna use the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer, the best. I do quite a bit of it and then I just blend it out with a brush. Okay, now for eyeshadows. I love the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 3 palette. I've been really enjoying this because it pretty much has everything that you could possibly ever need in a neutral palette. I love the cool and warm tones in here, and then plus you get 2 cream shades in here as well. So this is what I'm going to use today, but the look is really easy. You could honestly use any neutral palette. Something else that I love is the Pretty Cool from Dose of Colors. Both of these formulas are really buttery and smooth, and this is just a good like go-to palette. There's also a warm tone version of this that I love as well, but I'm going to use the Patrick Ta one today, and I'll show you guys how easy this makeup look is. So I'm going to take this color right here and this one on the bottom, and I'm just going to mix both of those on a big fluffy crease brush. This one is from BK Beauty, the 201, and I pretty much just start applying that color all over the lid and in my crease. And I just kind of continue mixing the shades. I will add more, and sometimes I'll even take the color right next to it a little bit and also just add that into my crease to give a little bit of dimension, but it's just very neutral. So that's why I said you could pretty much use anything. You could even use bronzer in your crease if you wanted to. Sometimes I make this a little bit lighter, other times I make it a little bit darker. It honestly depends on my mood. I'm gonna leave it like this today. And then we're gonna add glitter, which is literally the best part of this entire look. Okay, then I'm gonna take this gorgeous matte white. This is one of my favorite colors in the entire palette because it is so intense. And I'm just taking this with this e.l.f. brush, and I'm just gonna pack it on my inner lid. I'm gonna end up adding more of this later on, but I like to do this now as well for a little bit of brightness in that area. This, by the way, is a wide tapered brush from e.l.f. And I tap off the excess before I apply the product. Then this is my favorite part, and I think this is truly what makes the entire look, and that's the Fenty Diamond Bomb in the shade How Many Carats. This is the best glitter. Of course, you can use this on your body or your face, but I love it as an eyeshadow. It is literally my favorite, and you can see it's very loved. I usually dip my brush or my finger. I'm gonna use my finger today just to show you guys how beautiful this glitter is. And the more that you add, the more of that intense finish you're gonna get. But this is literally what makes any look 20 times better. And just like that. And sometimes I add more, sometimes I do a little bit less. It depends. Now, if you want to add glitter, but you don't want to make it as intense, you can take any brush instead of your finger and kind of just dust it over your eyeshadow like that as well. And you can see you get that really pretty glitter, but it almost just looks a little bit more fine on the lid. So I like that look as well. I do that sometimes. And I think even whenever you do an all matte look, this is a pretty effect just with your brush, because it adds that sparkle, but it's a bit more subtle and less like in your face. But I love this kind of look, so I'm gonna do that. But it's very like customizable, this product is why I love it. Then I'm gonna take an angled brush. This one is from Real Techniques, and I'm gonna dip into this black eyeshadow, again with the Patrick Ta palette. I am going to apply my little e.l.f. tapes. These are no longer available. I remember I stocked up on these years ago, but Real Techniques, from what I've heard, has some tape that you guys could use, or the Sephora collection as well. You could even use regular tape too, but I like how gentle these are around the eye area. I start on the outer edge where the tape is, and I pretty much just follow along that tape and do a little wing, and I bring it in about midway. And I do like to make this pretty thick, especially since the eyeshadow is simple. So I just keep building it up. Okay, she's thick. I'm gonna curl my lashes and do a little mascara now. I'm using the CoverGirl Cleantopia in Extreme Black. The lashes that I love with this look, you guys know I love a wispy lash, and the Kiss number 11s just do it for me every single time. These are affordable, lightweight, easy to apply, all the things. So I'm gonna put these on, and clearly these are very loved with my favorite Kiss strip lash adhesive. And what I like to do is apply the glue to the lash band as well as on my top lash line, just to really get that extra hold, and your lashes will not go anywhere all day. You just need a tiny bit of lash glue. Just make sure you're letting it dry for at least a minute. So I got the lash glue up top, I got the lash glue on the lash. Like I said, wait about 60 seconds or so, not any less, not any more. Pop it on and your lash is not going anywhere. Now we can move into the skin. I'm gonna start off with actually a little bit of setting spray today just to hydrate, and I'm gonna use the Milani Make It Last Original. I always go back to this stuff. It is just the best drugstore setting spray. Feels so good. I really feel like I needed that too. And I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Power Grip Niacinamide Primer. I have a fresh one here today. I used up an entire one of these this year. I love this. It's hydrating, gives you a nice grippy texture, and it works with a lot of my favorite foundations. And I always like to let my primer sit for a little bit before going in with foundation, just so they can do what they're supposed to and have a little bit of time to absorb as well. Today for foundations, I'm gonna go in with the REM Beauty Sweetener Foundation. I've been testing this out, so I'm kind of just really enjoying it, but I also really like the color match. It's a little bit dark, but I feel like I can make it work with concealer and everything. I'm currently in the color medium 4N. This has a really pretty satin matte finish. It's a gorgeous foundation. I think it wears really well. It's not a very natural foundation. It definitely has a lot of pigment and coverage, but I think it looks really nice on the skin, and I like how it looks at the end of the day. So I'm gonna use this. But if I'm not using this, I'm still loving the Smashbox Always On foundation. This is hydrating, great coverage, super long wearing, but it definitely dries down to more of a natural soft matte finish. Definitely feels a little bit more lightweight than the one from REM Beauty. And I also, of course, love the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech foundation. This is a little bit more hydrating and has a bit more of a dewy finish than the one from Smashbox, but I enjoy both of these because of the wearability. So if I'm not using the REM Beauty one, these are the two that I still love, and I pretty much alternate between both of those. I'm going to use the Sweetener foundation today. I really like this packaging too. This is really nice. So I like to always rub it in with my finger first. I'm going to use a fresh foundation brush, Anissa Beauty Pinnacle foundation, to really stamp that into the skin. So pretty. Has more of a satin matte finish, but that's why I use that e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, because it gives a bit of hydration, because I don't want a totally matte face. Like you guys know, I always like to do a combo of dewy and matte products. It just works really nice with my combo skin. Yeah, this foundation is a little bit tan for me, but I make it work. I'm gonna drag it down a little bit to my neck. Then I'm going to use a little Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Concealer. I'm in love with the way this wears, the coverage. It's so pretty. I love the color 23 Light Medium Golden on me, so I'm going to apply some of this to my under eyes. So I just press the product into the inner corner, and then with my brush, I just kind of fan it out towards the rest of the under eyes. I'm going to use a little bit of concealer on my T-zone. Mainly like right here, a little bit down my nose, just the center of my face, just to lighten that up a little bit. I'm going to use that same concealer brush. This concealer is a bit thicker, but it's not cakey. It's actually more of a whipped formula, and it blends very easily into the skin. It's honestly just like the foundation as far as wearability, coverage. It's really pretty. If I get any makeup in my brows, I just take the spoolie and kind of just spoolie it out. Then I'm going to do a little ColourPop bronze stick to add a bit of color back to the skin. This one is in Moonstone Beach. Super creamy bronzer. glides on the skin. It honestly reminds me of High End. I love the formula of this. I'll show you how easily this blends. And you can actually apply this directly to your skin and it won't lift any of your foundation. And it just blends like a dream. Typically, I will take my brush and swirl it into the product, which you can do as well. But you see how nice that just blends? It's like magic, and you don't need a lot to. It has some good color payoff. So I kind of just like stipple it into my skin. I don't like to rub because then it's just gonna rub the foundation away. So we want to just stipple it in just like that. It gives the perfect amount of color. Okay, cute. Now, I don't always do liquid blush. Again, it depends on my mood, because sometimes I just do like a couple different layers of powdered blush, but today I'm gonna add a little liquid blush. This one is the Hard Candy Face Off Blush in the shade Born Yesterday. It's a really natural, luminous pink blush. You can get this at Walmart. I love this color. Also has a really good blend to it. I'm gonna just spot clean that bronzer brush I was using and just use the same one. Just gives a little flush. I'm gonna layer this up with powder, but I like to do liquid sometimes or cream under the powder because it just makes it last a little bit longer, gives it a nice base. Again, this is really natural, so it's not gonna give a ton of color. It can be buildable, but I'm gonna add probably at least 2 blushes over top of this, so I just want a really natural flush. And I just did a video on all of my favorite pink blushes, and this was one of them, so definitely check it out if you have not seen that. That's a good video. Now we're gonna do powder, and this is my favorite powder combo. I always do this. e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder in light pink, NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop in the shade light medium. I just love this so much. Something about it, it's just smooth, bright under eyes. The face is just, I don't know, something about it. I just always do this powder combo, but I have a couple other favorite high-end powders that I love. I like the Patrick Star One Size powder as well in the color Ultra Pink. That's a really good pink powder, but I'm gonna just use this one today. It's a little bit lighter, so it gives a bit more of a brighter under eye. See how smooth that looks? Cannot get enough of this powder. And this is the old packaging, by the way. I have both. I just kind of grab whatever is in front of me, but e.l.f. has some new packaging and the lid is pink, but it's pretty much the same exact thing. Don't forget to blend out your under eye creases before you set. I'm also going to take a little bit of whatever is left over on the puff and just put some of that around my mouth, my chin, my nose, and a little bit right between the brows. Are you kidding me? It's so good. And if I'm not using the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop powder, I still love the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder as well in the shade One Fair. That is a classic for me. I feel like this is a really good alternative to that one. I honestly love them both. I just pretty much switch it up, but this is bomb. And again, I get a little bit of that glowiness on my under eyes, but then I like to keep the rest of my face pretty matte. But this is just all around a really good setting or touch-up powder. It really keeps everything looking super smooth and in place. We need to add more blush because honestly you can't even really see it that much. I didn't do too much of the Hard Candy one. Like I said, this is super natural, so I'm definitely going to amp this up with the Fawn blush palette. This is one of my new favorites. I'm in love with this color right here, Passenger Princess. It's kind of like that purpley pink shade and it has a gorgeous satin finish. So when you apply it, it looks like a little bit of highlighter is mixed with blush and it's so gorgeous. So I'm using this old BH Cosmetics brush that I have here. It came in a set. I got it years ago. But I'm just going to use that. And I'm going to apply that to the cheeks. You see that glow? I love that because I usually don't use any highlighter when I use this blush, and it just gives the perfect amount of pigment. It's also buildable as well. The other shades are gorgeous. You pretty much get a pink color for every look. There's also a nice mirror in here too. I kind of put a little bit around my temples as well, just to blend the bronzer with the blush. And that's pretty much the only color I'm going to use in here. This is so extra. I'm always layering blushes, but I'm going to take the Juvia's Place Volume 4 blush palette. I'm going to use that Cotton Candy color. This is a matte and it's a little bit more of a pastel version of the one from Fawn. So I'm just kind of adding that also to the apples of the cheeks just to make it a little bit more pink And it's like truly like a Barbie cotton candy pink. I love this one. This is classic for me. Let's do some finishing touches to the eyes. I'm going to use the Essence Stay and Play Gel Liner in the shade Black Raven on the waterline. A little lower lash mascara. This mascara makes your lower lashes so long. And I usually like to apply an inner corner highlight. I always love a good shimmery light highlighter. The one from Rare Beauty in the shade Enlighten is one of my favorites, but I've also really been loving this matte white shade from the Patrick Ta palette. So I just put a little bit of this on a fluffy brush and I just applied that in the inner corners, and I love the look of this as well because it gives brightness, but it's matte, so it doesn't take away from any of the glitter on the eyes, which is honestly the main moment of the look. So I'm just gonna apply this right in the inner lid a little bit and in the inner corners. I love this color. Gives the perfect amount of brightness. I pretty much just keep building it up until I get it as light as I like. I like a really white inner corner. And this color is perfection. So that's pretty much it for the face. Last but not least, we're going to do a lip combo. I am still obsessed with this lip combo. I cannot get enough of the Rare Beauty Kind Words matte lip pencil in the shade Wise. Just goes with like any lipstick, any liquid lipstick or gloss. The formula, it's so comfortable and it lasts all day. And I usually always like to match my cheeks with my lips whenever I can, and the e.l.f. O Face Satin Lipstick in Dirty Talk is perfect whenever I have a pink cheek. This is the most beautiful pinky nude. And then I'm going to top it off with a gloss, and I'm going to use the Fenty Gloss Bomb in Sweet Mouth. This is still one of my all-time favorite gloss formulas. I love the smell and the texture of these because they're not sticky. It's the perfect layering color. And don't forget to wipe your doe foot before you put it back in. I have a really bad habit of not doing that. And then the gloss gets all gross. But look at this combo. Is this not like the perfect nude pink? Last but not least, Milani Make It Last Original. I've also really been enjoying the LYS Natural Finish Setting Spray. Both of these are super similar. The LYS one has a bit more of a finer mist, but they're both great for just keeping your makeup in place and melting everything in. I'm gonna go with Milani. I love a fresh bottle of setting spray too. Let that dry. Don't make any facial expressions. We don't want anything to settle into the lines. So RBF while the setting spray dries, and then we're all done. And that is it, you guys. This is my current favorite go-to glam. Try out this look, and this is your sign also to try out some glitter. This Fenty glitter, I will not stop talking about this because it is just too good, and I feel like it's really what makes this look. So try this out, and as always, I will have all the products for you guys linked down below in the description box. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me, and I cannot wait to see you very soon in my next one. Bye!